Today, we're going to talk about some sales team growth hacks. I'm going to help you learn how to boost performance, track progress, and close deals more effectively. This whole video is built on the premise that you are using some sort of script for your sales calls. We're not going to go super deep into that today, but if you have questions about it or you're not using one and want more information, make a comment below and we'll do a separate video. But this is so key because if you're the master of sales and you're trying to scale your business, you're trying to grow bigger than just yourself, or you're trying to get more people to perform at the same level you are, you have to systemize things, right? And that's what your script is all about, having key components of questions and statements that are said on every call to duplicate and replicate performance. And these are things that you can then train on and you can track, all right? So enough said about a script. If you don't have one, get one. And when you have one, here's how to use it. My team follows some very specific sequences on a daily and weekly basis that I'm going to walk you through to have the most communication, the best pulse on your team and their performance. All right, first of all is once a week, we have a big huddle with everybody on our team. We go through every deal in the pipeline, exchange of a lot of information of where things are at, who's doing what and when and next. We have a leadership huddle where we go through higher level things like marketing decisions and ad spend and performance and talking about employees, talking about deals. And that's just the key high level leaders on a weekly basis. We have a daily small check-in huddle with our sales team where we go through current deals that are on the hot list. We make a plan for where to focus their calling efforts and outbound channels. We diagnose situations for leads that are in the pipeline process, ready for an offer or offer not accepted. How can we re-engage? All those types of things happen. So there's constant communication between manager and sales team, and using Resimply's listen in feature is super helpful for that. But for call reviews, I also like to use just listening to call recordings. I like to speed them up and listen on 1.5 to be efficient. Or Resimply has an AI tool that will summarize everything very quickly. So if you're trying to find out, did your sales team hit these 3 key points on the script, you can just scan really quickly and read it and check the box, right? So that's really helpful in a couple tools that speed things up for your call reviews. In addition to daily check-ins for what's happening in the lead category, we also have daily training with our team, all right? We rotate between 4 key elements of sales psychology that are part of the script, and we just cycle through it because the basics are where it's at and teams can easily get off track, but we will do training on the sales psychology topic, and then we will do live role plays. And this is the opportunity for your team to bring to the table seller call that just caught them out of left field or something they consistently struggle with, or your opportunity as a manager to bring training topics that you're seeing themes and trends that are out of alignment with what you want. So daily training is key, guys. It's just 15 minutes, maybe 20, and do it on repeat. Keep it frequent and short. The next thing we do is every week, each team member has a one-on-one for an hour, maybe an hour and a half with their manager. And this is the opportunity to dive into their specific KPIs, talk about their last week's performance, talk about their projections that are coming up based on performance, do some call reviews, do some specific training. And this is just to keep a pulse one-on-one with somebody and have opportunity for those deeper dives. I encourage you with your call reviews and your weekly one-on-ones to have a specific worksheet or form template that you use every time to check the boxes or answer the same questions and keep the consistency and also be able to track the growth, right? Track what topics you're training on, track what topics they're working on, and then be able to revisit those and circle back and have continuity and growth. With my team, I actually have them fill out the weekly worksheet and bring it to me. So it's one less thing for the manager to do, but it really creates involvement from your sales team. You want them to be thinking through what problems they're struggling with, what calls they're struggling with. How can they ask me as a manager for help? I don't want to just come to them and say, this is where you need help, right? But we're looking for people that have that ambition and that drive to solve problems and not just do it alone, but to bring things to the table with ambition. So we use a worksheet that they fill out to me, and then we go through it every week. We engage on it together and start fresh every week, but we can look back on the previous weeks as well. A couple tools that I really like that ReSimpli offers to help me analyze things quickly and efficiently is their playback on 1.5 or 2x speed to listen to call recordings. Of course, listening in live is always an option as well, but if you want to participate in a call or support your sales team, you can whisper into their ear while they're on a call. There's also a barge in feature where sometimes they are say, oh, well, let me get a manager in or whatever angle you're going to play, and somebody else can come into the call live like a three-way. You can also transfer a call. So those are really great features. Additionally, they have some AI tools that will summarize things or create a transcript that are really easy to reference back and make sure those key points on the script are getting checked. So I hope you have some tools like that you can use as well. All right, guys, the way I want to wrap up this video is a few sneaky little tricks that you can use if a deal didn't play out the way that you wanted it to, especially deals that you really thought you had potential and maybe something just went sour with your team. A couple ways to try to bring it back in that maybe you haven't thought of yet. First of all is a manager call, right? I'll pick up the phone and take the approach of customer service the same way that a restaurant manager will come around after your server's been there. Are you guys having a nice, is everything okay? That type of approach with the seller. And I'll just say, hey, I know you were working with my teammate, John, and just wanted to see how the conversation went, make sure you felt that you were treated fair and heard, and let them talk. And then you can follow up and say, and how did that leave off? And there could be an opportunity to re-engage or pick back up or maybe fix something that went wrong and try to get that lead back on the line. All right, so that is a manager call. Another call that you can take with a lead that just something went wrong is to do what's called a new investor call. Pick a new phone number, dial them again, and just act like you're somebody completely different, or have someone else on your team call and just be a completely new investor. Start from the top. You can modify your script a little bit so it doesn't sound exactly the same as your company, the first time around, but this can be a great way to just get another voice and see if somebody else will connect better with that lead. And now that you have a little intel on them from the first call, you may be able to position your approach differently to have better success. The last thing, of course, you should really be doing on all your leads is having automations to follow up. And I don't encourage just blindly calling all the time. Support your time, multiply your time, and also just diversify the touch points that you have with a seller by using SMS, emails, recorded voicemails that you can just drop. And also one of the cool ninja things that ReSimpli has is sending direct mail postcards or letters, not as marketing, but as a one-off to a specific lead that you can try to touch who's just no longer answering your phone calls. So have these things in drip campaign, guys, so that you're not manually spending your time going through all of these individually. Just set it and forget it and watch these leads circle back to you and nothing falls through the cracks. I hope that this video has been helpful for you on how to scale and train your team and scale your business.